So for perspective, it's a 100-mile race. There's 25,000 feet of elevation gain, and it's a 20-mile lap consisting of some out and back sections. So you have to do the same thing 5 times in a row, essentially. You might be moving way slower, but now you need to raise the intensity. You might feel like you're pushing way harder, but you're probably going slower than you were earlier. I was so drained, physically and emotionally that it was all out there. I left it all out there. When you're doing difficult challenges almost willingly, signing up for crazy events or just doing crazy shit. It helps you process some of the more difficult things that are actually going on.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another LT360 Podcast. We are in a new location, but you wouldn't know that anyways, and you probably don't care. It's all good. We're keeping it going, and I'm back with a second-time guest. He is someone I went to high school with. I think we actually went to the same elementary school at some point. We have so many ties that bound us together back in Rhode Island. So I'm super excited to have him back on. He is an ultra athlete, quite literally. And he's back on because he wants to share his story with a recent race that he did. And I'm super excited to hear about it because I've only heard about it from the one and only David Goggins that everyone knows. So to, have another connection to this and have it be so personal, I'm super excited to hear what it's like. So welcome Eric Wesolowski back on the podcast. Super stoked to have you here, bro. And he is out in Hawaii for everybody listening. So what's up, dude? Re-engage. Let's get right into it, right?
Yeah.
So Eric was so excited to tell the story. He didn't know if we were rolling or not, and he was already telling me about the race. But get back into it, bro. What did you come on here today to talk about?
So I just got finished doing the Hurt 100. It's a 100-mile ultra marathon trail running race they do here on the island of Oahu. Right now I'm about like a mile from the start line. Last 6 years or so, I've lived right in this general area, very close to the race course. And like you said, I always forget about that. Like a lot of people know about this race because of Goggins. He wrote about it in his book. That's where I feel like it gained a lot of popularity, as well as other great ultra athletes coming out here and attempting this race. But I heard about it just from the neighborhood, like just being out in the trail community and running on the mountain often. That's how I heard about it. Friends and attempting this race and finishing this race and doing well at this race. So it was one of those things that got, me super interested in it and, super hungry to get this sort of thing done.
Bro, it's crazy to think about, I think I have a vivid memory, bro, of you, wringing out your shirt during Hell Week football practice and you being, you we're not this guy. You know what I'm saying? The person you are compared to that vision I have of you is so different. It couldn't be more opposite ends of the spectrum. But it's so crazy, bro. It's so dope to see that that change. And obviously for all of you guys listening, we talked at the beginning of COVID. It was about 2.5 years ago. And that was when we did our first podcast, and you were you had been living out there for 3-4 years at that point, but you were just really starting to kind of hit the ground running and getting into competitions, right? You started to fly back onto the mainland. You were going to races in Washington and Nevada and places like that, right? That you were hitting up for races, and you were on the routes of getting sponsored and doing all of this. And it's crazy to see that you've taken a Spartan race to the Hurt 100 in a 2-year span, bro. That's I could go bang out a Spartan race for sure. Next week, if I had to, I could go do that. But you're out here hitting, in 2 years, nah, I took 12 steps. I'm at the top level. I'm doing one of the hardest races. So I want to hear your experience, bro, because it's motivating to see you just continue to grow like this. Honestly,
I definitely appreciate that, Dylan. But yeah, no, definitely did start with a lot of those uh, Spartan races. You know, I traveled the mainland, do some, and they have races. You know, go all the way from a 5K up to a 50K. I did their 24-hour race. You know, a couple years ago in Telluride, Colorado. And that was a super sick race where it was just like you're doing laps of this mountain over and over and over again. But you know, when you're doing these extremely, extremely challenging events, you always want to know, oh, what's next? You know, that's the question everybody's been asking me for the last little bit. Oh, what's next? Oh, you just did this absolutely crazy thing. What's next? I'm like, dude, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill the fuck out for a little while. You know, those things. It takes a lot out of you. You know, a race like this that I've seen so many people do, and it's so close to it's in my backyard. I wanted to do this race right. You know, I wanted to give it my all, and got into training right away. So I found out I got into the Hurt 100 after doing a Spartan race, coming through the finish line of a 50K, and I'm trash. You know, being out there for 7-8 hours, and all my friends at the finish line, wow, good job. By the way, you just got picked for Hurt. They did the lottery this morning. Now you're in. And I'm like, oh crap. All right. Now that's what's next. That is what's next.
Literally, as you finish one thing, the next thing's already there. That's crazy.
It's like, all right, so that's what's next. Wonderful. I'm gonna, it's one of those things how do you get picked for this race? Everyone basically puts their name into a hat. And it's all based off a weighted lottery system where you get extra entries for doing certain things or being put on the wait list and such. So last year I was put on the wait list. Great. Didn't get to do the race. But this year I got picked. So for perspective, it's a 100-mile race. There's 25,000 feet of elevation gain. And it's a 20-mile lap consisting of some out and back sections. So you have to do the same thing 5 times in a row, essentially.
5 times.
Looking at the steep elevation gain, obviously it's an ass kicker of a race. But they deal with a lot of, technical areas where you're dealing with a lot of roots and rocks and undulated terrain that makes it very difficult to get into a jogging motion in most places.
Yeah, I remember specifically reading Goggins' book, and he was talking about how shitty the footwear he had on was for the terrain that was about to engulf him because that's all I can. I've never been to Hawaii, but that's all I can imagine. It's just like it's fucking pebbles and rocks and dirt and roots and just like it's a jungle, right? I mean,
it's very much. And what's neat about the area where they do the race on panel is it's essentially exactly that. It's a jungle, the mountainous jungle that is no more than 3 miles from Waikiki Beach. So we're right there in the city. So like at any moment, you're at an aid station, you could be on the beach very shortly, and you're constantly seeing the same stuff over and over again. So the finisher rate is not good. Not many people finish this race to begin with.
Yeah.
I think this year it was roughly about 40% finisher rate when 130 people or so toe the line to start. Not many people are finishing under the 36-hour time.
So you had about 120 people run the race and about 50 probably finished.
Roughly that, give or take, maybe plus or minus a few, but the finisher rate definitely is not good for a race like this.
Damn, bro, that's insane.
But once I got picked to start like August, September, it was like, how am I going to do this? Who can help me do this? And I contacted a close friend, local ultra runner that has also finished this race, also has won this race, my friend Anna, who has done this race 3 times, finished 3rd, 1st, and then 2nd. And, someone I'm like, holy crap, really got my eye and interest in this race. So, we collaborated and, figured out the best way to get this race done and figure out a training plan and a process to periodize our training to hopefully peak come early January when the race went on.
So what does that look like? How long of a training periodization was that consistent of? When did you finish that 50K and find out that you had got into
So
Nashville?
it was quite literally going through the finish line of that 50K Spartan race that I found out I got picked. So yeah, let's take a few days, kind of rest, recover, and get back into the next thing.
And how
So
many? When was that 50K ending? If the Hurt 100 was at the end of January.
that race was at the end of August. So it was a few months to kind of get back into it.
Basically like 3 months, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so like 12 to 15 weeks. That makes sense.
Something, yeah, roughly that. But you can look at it as that. You can look at it as a 12 to 15 week thing. I think it looks more like, years in the making. I don't think something like this is something that you can just kind of jump into. Sure. I think it's a really, it's stacking days on top of weeks, on top of months, on top of years. And, it is a process. But obviously, when you find out, it's game time. It's spending a lot more time outside. It's spending a lot more time in the gym and a lot more time in the kitchen as well. Eating quite a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of calories. I remember we talked about that a lot on the last podcast.
Yeah.
It's like the pure volume of food that you have to intake for the amount of, work that you're doing. Like the output for that many hours is insane. I don't think people have understanding or recollection of like what it takes to actually physically perform in a shitty environment at a high level for 8, 9, 10 hours. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And leading up to the race, we had a 55 miler that we did, and this was after that was in mid-October, so that was like going to be my prep race, if you will. A train through race. Obviously, it sounds ridiculous training through a 55 miler, but we put in the work for this to kind of run a trial. How's your nutrition going to work? We tried to go towards a lot of liquid calories, and it worked out well. Where I'm making bottles of Scratch and Tailwind. It's like a Gatorade kind of thing, sports drink, and letting your body consume calories that way was a huge
breakdown and expend more energy breaking down what you're taking in.
I see it. A lot of people love real food. I do. I'll eat some fruit and stuff like that. But say you're eating any like sort of hard granola bars, it's tiring doing all that chewing. That's even more energy getting expanded.
No, that makes sense. Plus, your digestive system has to work a lot harder to extract the nutrients from whatever solid food you have. So that makes a lot of sense, bro. What is on a day-to-day basis anyway? What is your regimen? How many, or on a week-to-week basis, I could say how many days of running? How many days of like specific gym work are you doing? How does that even look for you?
So leading up to the the event, it was probably closer. It was probably like 5 days of running. I know some people have to do 6-7 days of running, and some people maybe take a couple rest days out of the month. But sometimes sometimes less is more. Sometimes you're doing too much, and that's not good for you. So yeah, I was doing about 5 days a week of running, and then I'd probably do 1 to 2 days in the gym. And I'd always have 1 day a week that I'd probably keep it as a full rest day, some sort of active recovery, maybe, go for easy hike with the dog or something like that. But it was, from 10 to, maybe 8 to 15 hours of trail running a week. And then I'd probably put in 2 hours in the gym.
Okay.
Where, running's consisting of just a lot of hill training, going, a lot of climbing, power hiking, running uphill, hiking up hills, jogging down them, and just spending a lot of time on feet. Some intensity here and there, but most of the intensity was done in the gym, where we're working on a lot of strength training and then a lot of single leg movements as well, because running is just a series of single leg movements, one after another.
Love that.
So consisting a lot of step ups, jump rope, like single leg jump rope, all sorts, split squats and all sorts of that crap. But I feel like that really strengthens all the the knees and the ankles as well as the muscular system as well.
Yeah, for sure, bro. That's dope. So, in terms of your trail running, you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you said some power hiking, you said you're throwing some intensity. So is it like more long distance, you're just trying to go for a certain amount of time and you're maybe like throwing in intervals where you're like, all right, for the next 3-4 minutes, I'm going to kind of push the pace and then I'll slow it back down? Do you do like a fartlek style of that sort?
I will here and there, but I don't think I'm not touching certain intensities in a race of this distance. This race took me 26 hours. So the intensity aspect of it is like there's not much intensity. So you try to find that zone, that all day zone, where I do a lot of math training. It's the maximum aerobic function. So it's basically how hard can you push it aerobically? You're not pushing the needle where you're building lactic acid and you're you're spilling over the well. You want to go slow enough, but you want to be moving. It's a race, you want to be moving at a decent clip. And that's going to help you be able to be somewhat decent later in the race where you might be moving way slower, but now you need to raise the intensity. You need it. You might feel like you're pushing way harder, but you're probably going slower than you were earlier.
You're probably still going, 2 miles per hour slower than you started.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, let me ask you this then. You took you 26 hours. Where did you finish?
I was the 4th overall finisher. I was the 3rd male finisher for this race.
You're a fucking savage.
Yeah. It was, I think I had, I was very ready for this race, and I was extremely prepared for the terrain. I spent, 5 days a week up there. Some people are coming out here for the first time, never experiencing this sort of thing. And I was even thinking that, when we started the race, because I used to get lost up there all the time. There's so many, it's a highway system of trails up there and they're all intertwining. And I couldn't imagine someone being like, oh, whoops, blew past this turn. I know every turn and rock and route on that mountain for the most part. So I was very much, I'm just going to run my race. I'm not going to go out slow. I'm going to, run at a conservative enough effort that I'm going to keep some gas in the tank at all times.
That's what's
so it was cool. It was a fun experience. My house was eat, sleep, live, hurt for a few months. That's all it was. And once the race came, it was a lot of preparation and visualization to get to that start line. That's one thing I'm huge in is visualizing what the hell you're doing. It's what helps me go to sleep. I'm going to visualize the race. I'm going to prepare for it in a way that when I get to the start line, I already know what the fuck's going to happen. I already ran this race. I already visualized what's going to go down at each point. So there's not going to be any surprises. There's not going to be anything that I'm not sure of. I wanted to leave no stone unturned.
That's what's up. I love that. Now, what from the standpoint of like visualization, what is on a day-to-day basis, what does that look like for you? How are you practicing that, or because that's just as much training, right? So we talk about like, oh, I'm trail running and oh, I'm doing shit in the gym, but like practicing visualization and meditating on that vision of yourself crossing the finish line, starting the race, that's all just as important, right? That is training.
So everyone says when a lot of the time I'll get finished with something like that and they're like, wow, that's a crazy mental feat, like you're so mentally strong, yada yada yada. And I'm like, well, it's a physical, like you physically cover the distance, so you do got to be very physical, it's not just mental, so you got to be very physically strong and able to do something. But that's a part of it, that's just a part of it. And when you're not training physically, you have to be training mentally as well. Like, so the physical component of it is just a portion of your training. Obviously, you want to spend time on the trails and in the gym and getting ready for it. But when you're not doing that, you have to be training your mental side of things as well, because this is a mental feat. Like, you're stuck in your own mind for so long in an event like this with your doubts and your concerns. And the more you do, visualizing these things, there's going to be less and less doubt that you're going to be coming across.
Yeah, it's almost like the mental part of the race is done beforehand, right?
Very much so.
Like you said, it's the physical part that actually gets you from the starting line to the finish line, but the mental work that you do before you get to that starting line is really what propels you. It's not the race that's the mental feat. It's the work you do beforehand mentally that allows you to complete it physically.
No, most definitely. That's what will take a lot of people out, is the doubt in themselves and their ability to keep going.
Yeah, man. And then obviously, I mean, in order to have that amount of confidence, you have to put in the fucking work too, right? Like you can't just sit on your couch and visualize it and go, all right, I'm not going to train for 3 months, but I'm going to visualize the shit out of this. And then
I'm going to do that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that would work too well either. Which is, you know, why people talk about like, I've heard it explained as like your work on the mind and the work on the body allows you to complete something like that, which engulfs you spiritually. So it's more of like when you cross that finish line, your spirit actually has like a higher level of being and self-confidence, and it was the mental and physical work, you know, that you did combined to get you there. Would you agree that like after you finish these things, you spiritually have like a higher level of confidence and just like being humble, right? I mean, you're humbled on these you know, terrains and these
it gets you to think. It's like, well, what else can you do? You know, what else can you push the body and mind to get done? And it takes, you know, something that super very much interests you to lock in on something and to obsess over something to get that mission done and that mission accomplished.
Yeah, man. And
so like, you know, like this in particular, I felt like it, you know, I was in a way called to do this. You know, I had the shadow of this mountain over me for, you know, several years, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get after this thing.
Damn, bro, that's so amazing that you pulled off a 4th place finish. What was?
You know, it wasn't easy. You know, there was you know, a lot of you know, tough competition that, you know, came into this race. You know, we started out, you know, just hiking up the first hill, you know, talking story with a couple of people. I met Alyssa Clark, who is the female winner. I met Nate, who won for the men. When I heard his name, I was like, wait, didn't you win this race before? He goes, yep. I'm like, oh, damn it, this guy's good. And, you know, badass local runners as well. Sergio and Nate, they're both kick-ass local guys. So it's kind of just like, let's go out and let's, you know, have fun. That was my motto for the first 2 laps was, you know, fun. And it was also an acronym for fuck up nothing, where plan needs to go the way it's written. You know, we don't want to throw any curveballs. We don't want to get caught up in, oh my goodness, look how fast this guy's going, let me try to keep up. It was, no, let's go out, you know, conservative hard, and, you know, just see how well the body can do.
Crazy.
And it's like in a race like that, you want to, you know, any goal is just do the best the body can do on that day, and wherever that leads me, sick, you know. So be it, exactly. And it was, I was nowhere near 4th all day. You know, I was, you know, just cruising, maybe top 10. You know, I had no idea. Placement didn't matter. Passing back and forth, you know, running with some of the same guys all day. And then I realized, like, the night starts to fall, and then I see people that were, you know, because you see these out and backs, you're constantly seeing the people you're racing with all day and kind of seeing how far they're in front of you. And I'm like, where the heck are these guys? And they're like, oh no, they're at the aid station not doing too good. And I'm like, oh crap, okay. Wow. we're in it. Like, we're kind of in it right now. And, we're still feeling all right. We pick up a pacer. We start to run with a couple of guys. And then I think, once it got dark is where, home field advantage sort of comes into play. And, I'm like, oh, excuse me, on Manoa Cliff downhill. I've ran this, maybe 70, 80, 90 times before. I know every step. So, the dark cliff side isn't as scary to me. And, we fly by. I was like, oh, we got a couple bodies there. Okay. Now we're in it. It's nighttime. Pick up another pacer, lap 4. Buddy of mine I've been working with for years, that him and I have been doing a lot of visualization about this race, a lot of talking about this race. It's like, oh, now we're doing it, man. Like, now we're acting on it. We're shooting the shit in the jungle, trying to keep a solid pace. And then I realized, like, oh, we're coming in the last lap right now. And my crew's telling me that the third place guy just left. I'm like, oh, just that was the guy that we just crossed past. He's like, yeah, he's in third place. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, right now's the time to run.
Yeah.
Now it's the time to push that pace a little bit when the body's hurting, and let's see how well it can hold on. I picked up a pacer, a guy I've never met before. My crew's like, oh, you're gonna run with this guy, like, I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. But you're not going to complain to somebody that you don't know. Like, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, not at all. He's like, no, let's just keep moving. You got, it's probably 5 hours left for you. Let's get it done. And we found that other guy at the the next aid station with his crew, and it's a Japanese runner. We obviously a language barrier. We couldn't communicate too much. And he sees me, and he feels the blood in the water. He stood right up and like got out of there. And I'm like, oh crap. And then you got my rowdy friends that are like, go for the kill, take him out. And I'm like, oh crap. All right, let's giddy up, And after we passed him, I was running so damn scared because I was like, holy crap, dude, I'm third male right now. That's a podium spot, Yeah. And I just ran scared because I knew he was on the hunt as well. Yeah, and that last little push to the finish where it was like, all right, we got one downhill to go. That same downhill I passed people on late in the night. I was like, all right, we gotta just slam my feet into the ground. And it was very painful because you're running on rocks for damn near 24 hours at this point, and the feet are in pretty rough shape, but like the pain is not going to last that long. It's going to end when I get to the finish line. So the quicker we get to the finish line, the sooner the pain stops,
Yeah.
Or so you think. The pain still goes on for a week later, And ran scared as hell, got to the finish line. Almost caught the second guy. I was running so scared. They beat by a couple minutes. And, it was one of those like, oh, you could have caught him. It was like, no, there's no way. There's no way. Because everything I did, I left everything out there. There was nothing left. I was so drained, physically and emotionally that like, it was all out there. I left it all out there. And, it was a good feeling to, do that hard thing that it's kind of set out to do.
Bro, so when you finished, what time of day was it?
It was 8 o'clock in the morning. So we started at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and I finished 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Right in time for breakfast.
Fuck. When you're running, what are you refueling with? Do you have like a fanny pack with chew tablets and gels, and like how often are you drinking water? What does that look like? Because I'm sure people are sitting here like, what is it? How does he just run for 26 hours straight with nothing?
I think fueling is probably the most important thing in a race like this. Obviously physically, mentally, but you also have to train your stomach in an event like this. Like when you're going out for your training runs, you have to be consuming calories. You can digest from anywhere from 200 to 300 calories per hour. And I think a lot of problems with a lot of ultra runners is they don't really train the stomach, and that's very important to try to consume many calories because you're expending even more.
Way more,
I do a lot of liquid calories that is very important, such as like Scratch and Tailwind. It's a powder that you mix with water and you sip on that. So you're getting your sodium content, some of your electrolytes, as well as calories, like ton of carbohydrates. As far as like gels and stuff, I like to use Spring Energy gels. They're made with like real food. They're a little bit easier to digest for longer periods. It's basically like it's baby food. That's all it is.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's probably similar.
Just mushed up baby food. Exactly. Oh, I buy baby food from the store because it's cheaper than those gels sometimes. Like those applesauce packets. Like I would do a lot of those. They're a little bit cheaper. They're good.
No, that's what's up.
And then like at the aid stations are amazing at like these ultra races. I've seen races I've done. They had mac and cheese at a fire pit. I've seen all sorts of soups and cheese quesadillas and the most elaborate things. But I like to try to keep it a little more simple. I like watermelon is probably one of my favorite things to eat during a race. Sprinkle a little like table salt on top of it. So you get, and it's just sugar, salt, and water. Bananas are great as well. Salted potatoes, as well as, and then later in the night, one thing I did a lot of was like a beef bone broth. That was
literally about to be my next question because you said soup, that made me think of that.
Yeah, I found this company that sells these beef bone broth in like a liquid IV type packet, and you just mix it with hot water, and it is, I think, perfect for an added thing of nutrition for something like that, because you're gaining protein back in, trying to repair some of that muscle. It's liquid, so you're getting hydrated, and obviously it's super salty. So I thought that was awesome, because I've done soups before, but this bone broth is like some gourmet shit.
Yeah, no, that sounds fire, and I can't imagine how much more like invigorating those taste buds must feel like when you're in that state of like fucking pure
hot cup of soup, dude. It's like,
yeah, bro. You start getting hot and sweaty, bro. That's I can imagine. That shit's probably better than sex at that point. It's like it's a close call.
Oh yeah, take the bone broth at that point.
yeah, fuck yeah. That's hilarious, bro. God damn.
Fueling is it's very, very important, because a lot of things that'll take you out in those races is stomach issues. If you're not, accustomed to eating these foods for long periods of time, you're gonna have gut bombs. You're gonna be shitting your pants. You're gonna be throwing up. You're not gonna be able to keep food down. If you can't keep food down, you can't keep moving, because it's just, you're gonna fall apart at some point.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a terrible feeling. Or if you're just shitting your pants while you're doing it, I mean that's.
Oh yeah, I totally smelled a shit when I was on the trail on one of my laps. I was like 4 or 5. I just looked directly at 9 o'clock, and this dude just squatted down off the trail, and I'm like, "Oh, bro, what? Like, do you, man? Just, we didn't say anything. We locked eyes with each other, didn't say a word, and I was like, it's a pretty normal occurrence, to be honest. It's not that.
Moving.
Yeah, just keep moving.
So, would you normally go at an aid station? Is that what the normal?
Yeah. So I always pee on the uphills. I'm not afraid to take it out and let the stream flow as I'm hiking uphill. That's another important piece of training, as well as an important reason why we wear the short shorts. You can take them out, let it go for a little bit. As far as dropping a 2, I didn't feel the need to. I did once at end of lap 3. It was probably water, because I've been just mostly drinking my calories. So you want to take care of that in aid station if you can. If not, off trail, hey.
Yeah.
When duty calls, you gotta.
It is what it is. When duty calls,
you gotta be ready. It's a good idea to have a couple Kleenex in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Just in case.
What do you carry on you? Do you have some sort of like knapsack fanny pack thing? Is that pretty much
Yeah,
it?
so I'll wear like a waist belt. For early in the day, I wore a waist belt that could carry, some gels on the sides and in the back, as well as a water bottle in the front. Then I would have those little handheld water bottles as well that I could, stuff some, gels as well as my salts in there for when I needed it. As the day went on, later in the day, I wanted to carry like an extra pack later as the night went on because I wanted to have like extra headlamp and such like that. So then I could throw on a running vest that would also carry a couple water bottles in it, extra food. Like I said, like headlamp and stuff, extra set of batteries.
Probably adding like 2 or 3 pounds as you run through the night.
Yeah, you want to carry a little bit more with you.
That makes sense. And
because you're going a little bit slower too.
Yeah, and then at that point you're not worried about the pace and the intensity, right? So what about what are you wearing besides short shorts? What
short shorts? That's it, baby.
That's it, baby. All right, let me ask you this then. Do bugs play an issue? Do you get caught up in that shit? Is that possible? Have you had complications with that?
Yeah, there'll be some mosquitoes and stuff like that, but I can't even tell you last time I used bug spray or any of that crap. It's definitely really a non-issue. Like the wildlife here is essentially non-existent. You'll see a lot of chickens and you'll see some pigs. You might see some cats out there, stray cats out there. But yeah, nothing that's really nothing that's gonna bother you.
Shoe wear then. What do you wear for this?
So obviously you can't just throw on a pair of Nikes for something like this. You could, but it's gonna be very slippery, and your feet are gonna get beat up a little bit. So I use a brand called VJ Shoes USA. They're a Oregon-based company. They market towards a lot of obstacle course and sky races. So things that need a lot of grip when you're on difficult terrain for the most part. So I found that they work really well for this because you're dealing with a lot of wet rocks and slick surfaces, and they use a very good rubber that almost sticks to these surfaces. You need some sort of lugs on them as well. I think they use about a 6 mil lug. Picture like a football cleat. You're able to dig into the dirt a little bit, so you're not going to be moving around when you're running on a downhill and you have one foot planted. You got a little bit of traction. So that's important. I also use Injinji socks. They're like those toe socks.
I have some of those.
Those are really good. I never knew why. I always thought they were silly looking, kind of uncomfortable, like in between your toes. But one thing I realized was there's no skin friction when you're doing something wrong and your toes are just rubbing up against each other, creating this friction. You're going to have a ton of blisters. Your feet are going to get extra beat up. So when you have that cloth in between the toes, you're not going to have that rubbing skin against skin. And that's one thing that was
I have some of those socks. They're great. I love those.
Mm-hmm. And like we know for the race, we change shoes, we change socks like every 20 miles or so to try to keep the feet as fresh as we could.
Okay.
We had a few pairs of shoes in the arsenal, ready to go. I think I was even overkill, to be honest, because we had absolutely fantastic conditions. It was very dry. But I know, once you get foot pain, it's very difficult to, push at a good clip.
Yeah, that's not fun. Do you have any ongoing issues, injuries, things that you've had to work through, things that pop up regularly?
No. Which is very, it's strange for, this sport in particular, because a lot of guys, they do too much and get hurt, or there's too much intensity and they get hurt. I've worked with coaches in the past, Ryan Kempson in particular, and I wanted to, I know how to run. I know what to do. I know you should run easy a lot, but I needed injury prevention stuff. I needed stuff to be like, well, I want to keep doing this, not for weeks and months, but like years and maybe decades. I want to be able to keep going. So I do a lot of injury prevention stuff. Like I do some stuff in the pool. If you're familiar with the Burkendo method, it's basically like moving in the pool. It's like water aerobics, if you will. You strap on like one of those flotation belts, like the auntie grandma's doing in the pool
at the YMCA.
And, you kind of, at the YMCA, and you're kind of just moving freely. You don't have any. There's no impact when you're out there, and your joints can move freely. Like imagine just floating there in the pool in the deep end, not even moving. It's healing your body,
Yeah.
And then you can move in different ways that you can't on land. So I'd quite literally be doing like jogging. It's aqua jogging in the pool on a day that I'm not running. So it's like, I'm out there getting a little cardio in. I'm moving in that same motion, but you're getting that compression from the water that isn't impacting your body, and I always feel so good after those events. I do those, workouts, hop in the pool for 30 minutes or doing different type of strength exercises is very important.
Yeah.
And I don't spend a lot of time on concrete.
You
definitely don't spend a lot of time on the concrete. I don't spend a lot of time on the concrete running where, running the roads and such. I do spend a lot of time on the soft ground where, you're getting that grounding aspect as well.
And it's
I think it's very important as well. And it's much more cushioned. There's less impact in that as well.
Yeah, we've killed ourselves with concrete, bro.
It's everywhere, man.
Yeah,
you can't get away from it.
No, it's not good. And particularly swimming and being in the water is, I tell people all the time, it might be the best exercise in the world because of the simple fact that you have the compression, which is creating a natural pump for your blood and lactic acid, and it is healing just being in the water. And then on top of that, as you move, you have resistance in all directions at a small level, but your joints aren't experiencing the impact. So you get synovial fluid production, but you don't get all of the jarring of impact, and you don't have to experience any force reduction or absorption through your joints or through the bones. So it's just literally all muscular benefits, and
it totally is.
Your joints get the ease of not having to deal with that shit. It's something that I wish I could make happen more, or I could put a lot more time to at a higher priority, but I don't do enough of it.
Same thing here. It's always after, you get out of the pool, it's like, oh man, I'm going to do that more.
Yeah. And then
it's like, it's like, then if you do it 3 weeks later, it's like, oh wait, I remember my body feels good after I do this. And then, oh no, I'm just going to lift weights and run the hills, You gotta have a good balance,
Yeah, for sure. It seems like you do, bro. To do this and not have any chronic injuries is kudos to you, man. Like the amount of stuff that you have had to, seek out in order to prevent those things, because you can't just be like, yeah, sure, I'm just gonna try to be a fucking trail runner and run the Hurt 100, and like I'm just gonna go for it and like not learn in that process and not dig for information and seek out network with individuals that can help you get there and improve and be humble in the journey of like, I have to take this person's ideas and see what I like about them and what works for me, and not just be like, yeah, whatever you're saying, bro, I don't care. You have to be open to what they say.
I think everyone for the most part has like good information you can take from them. So the more people you know, the more good information you can take from all these individuals. Be like, oh, I like that. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then you make it your own and you combine all these things. I think it's the best way. You got to learn from these people. We don't know everything. I don't know everything. We know a decent amount. You know a decent amount. But you take pieces from me and you take pieces from so-and-so, and then you create something better.
It's crazy. Totally agree, man. I always used to say, every person we meet is an opportunity to help or learn from. Like they either need something from you or you can take something from them, and like at any point you have the opportunity to impact that person, right?
That is true.
That's what's up, bro. What, do you have anything on the agenda, on the calendar? So what is next?
What is next?
Like, is it just like I'm gonna walk a 5K for a foundation? Like, what is it like?
No, I actually got a race next Saturday. I'm gonna do so Hurt, they have a really, really awesome race series that, they do shorter races that get progressively harder as the year goes on until they build up to the Hurt 100. So you definitely, if you're here in Oahu, you can do these shorter races. You don't got to do these gnarly events, I like to do, difficult things. So I try to, find out what's the next hardest thing.
Yeah, have fun and do the other things.
There's a few things that I'm thinking about, but right now we're going to enjoy the process and kind of continue to build up. So I'm going to do this race on Saturday. I'm going to travel to the mainland to do a Spartan race soon, but mostly to get ready for a really sick race, the Broken Arrow Sky Race. It's in Lake Tahoe, and it's one of those sky races where you're up there on the mountaintop and dealing with really, really gnarly terrain. But it's one of those that the best of the best in that area go to. So it's going to be pretty sick seeing some of these like professional guys out there absolutely ripping up the mountain.
And for you, that's a little different terrain, right? That's a little different.
Oh, most definitely. Plus, I'm not going to be at sea level either. That's going to be you're going to be up in some real mountains.
This is true.
The hill that we were hiking up and down is probably about 2,000 feet. And we're sitting there. That's the highest point for a race like Hurt.
Yeah, that's crazy compared to Lake Tahoe. Yeah, that's going to be a lot different.
Oh yeah, I think you start at like 6,000 up there.
Mm-hmm. Now that's going to be that's a training phenomenon, right? How can you train at a lack of oxygen to induce what would feel like being at high altitude and lower oxygen levels?
There is zero substitute for altitude. Zero. There's different things that you can do. I've heard even studies of humidity can be, comparable to altitude training. We got a lot of humidity here in Hawaii, but it's nothing like being up at altitude for long periods of time. But I can go inner island. I can fly to Maui and go up to 10,000 feet, or Big Island, go up to 13,000 feet. But unless you're spending copious amounts of time there, your body's not making the proper adaptation.
Yeah. There's no change in like the actual viscosity of your blood and the hemoglobin and all that plays a bigger factor.
It's just gonna be sucking wind.
Just sucking wind, bro. Just trying to get along. What is this for you now? Like what, you're talking about flying here and flying there, and like, I haven't even heard, I don't know, are you sponsored? Do you have like companies that are paying you to go, compete at these things? Are you getting paid for winning these things and you're just taking all the risk of going? How does this, what is your life? What do you do?
On my day-to-day, I'm a bartender. I work 4 to 5 days a week in Waikiki at a bar, restaurant bartender. That's what pays the bills. This running shit ain't paying the bills.
Nothing.
So this is, for the most part, purely for the love of the game. I've worked with a few companies that, Salt Stick is one of them. They'll send me some products. I work with a local hiking store, Uloha, that is super badass. They help me with gear from time to time when I need it, as well as just, good local, company to work with. But outside of that, no, I'm not working with anybody. I would love a shoe sponsor. I would love, a company to send me some footwear. Maybe some of them in Jinji socks would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing it for the love, like I would be doing this shit anyway, regardless of anything. There's nobody telling me to do what, you know? So it's just, I'm doing this shit because this is what I like to do. It's my favorite thing to do.
That's dope. And you plan on, you know, hopefully making some connections in the game, but you're gonna regardless continue to do it. Do you ever want to leave Hawaii? This was a topic of conversation when we talked last time, I think. Do you want to leave? I mean, you were talking about it before we got on, like, I think your mom's out there. You miss family. You got a sister, right? Back home.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
no, I don't. I thought about it. You know, you try to weigh pros and cons, and it's tough to beat this friggin' island here, man. We got a great community. We got a great supporting cast. We got a great team. So it'd be tough to live. It'd be tough to leave here.
Yeah, because that's your life now. You've established.
You know, I feel like people live a happy, healthy life here, and that's what I want to continue doing.
That's what's up. And
I don't have any time frame, but we're enjoying where we're at right now.
Yeah, and you've been there 6 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's about 6 years now. I think October will be 7.
Damn, that's crazy, man. Kudos to you. There's so much value, I'm sure, in what you've experienced and learned living out there, and then obviously, you know, you've learned about yourself just from doing all of this stuff, and you know, you obviously had, you know, lost your dad and everything, and that played such a vital role in your I'm sure your mental capacity and mental desire to just be on the mountain, right? And to just run and be connected to, you know, nothing but your thoughts and like everything else that's bigger than you and bigger than that. So it's great.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge fuel for my fire, of course, you know?
Yeah. And do you feel like it continues to help? Because that's not something that, like, you know, I'm fortunate that I haven't had anything monstrous like that in my life that I've had to face, but everyone I've ever talked to that has always said, like, it's not, you know, grief doesn't just like end, right? It's not just it's finite line. We reached the finish line. I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. Obviously, it comes in waves, and you got to use it as fuel for your fire when you're going through these difficult trials that life throws at you. When you're doing difficult challenges almost willingly, you know, signing up for crazy events or just doing crazy shit. It helps you process some of the more difficult things that are actually going on in life.
Yeah.
That it's going to able to help you, you know, deal with those things. And it gives you, you know, a little bit of more sense of purpose.
Yeah, it's perspective, it's purpose, it's realizing that, like, what you put yourself through is difficult, but what life puts you through is always going to be harder. And like, if you can put yourself through it, then, you know, it won't seem as bad, right? It's all relative. So I mean, the most basic thing people talk about is like, take a cold shower in the morning because it sucks and no one actually wants to do it, but it makes the rest of your day feel a little easier.
It'll make the rest of your day a little bit easier.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit easier.
On a day-to-day, I might go out for a long training run. And then, you know, I just did 15 miles, you know, and you go into work and everyone's super stressed out because the food takes a long time to come to the table. And I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, that's not, is that the most difficult part of your day? Like that this is it? You're going to fixate on this very minor detail? And that's going to be the end all be all
that tips you over. Agreed. I mean, it's a great perspective to have, man. Always respect that you walk through life like that. It's not easy.
Yeah, no, obviously, yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time, you know?
No. It can't be. I've learned that for sure.
You're gonna be balanced one way. You're gonna be, dealing with the highs. You're gonna get some lows coming your way at some point.
Yeah, for sure. There's some could argue there's more lows than there's ups, but it's all how you look at it. You take it as a bump on the chin. It's like, whatever, you got to just keep moving, keep going. So that's what's
that is true. During also definitely do want to touch on, during this whole process leading up to the the race and whatnot, during the race and after, the buddy of mine, one of my buddies, David D-Row, he goes by, he's a big time, we're shooting a documentary. He's a big time film guy. And he came to me with this idea of, let's do something for this crazy thing you're doing. Let's do something to show the process as well as the things that it takes to do something like this. So we put together a pretty sick film that, should be getting released soon, hoping to bring it to the Hawaii Film Festival and kind of tell the story a little bit more, touching on a lot of the shit that we touched on, such as visualization and mindset, but, going into the race a little bit and kind of seeing, what the heck this is.
Yeah, what it actually looks like being there.
Yeah.
So did he follow you? You had the crew follow you for a little bit of
time?
So
he came out and came to a lot of training runs and some gym sessions and got shots, as well as he was there the entire 26 hours of the race, trying to find me at different aid stations and trying to paint the picture a little bit.
That's unreal, bro. That is so cool. How long is the film going to be?
I have no clue. He is, he's got all that shit under control. I did my part already.
Yeah. You're like, whatever, bro.
Yeah. As far as length and stuff like that, I don't know. We got a lot of shit that we're, going through. I think it's pretty close to being completed, and we'll be sharing it as soon as it is.
So, is this something you're going to try to get on any platforms? Or are you just going to throw it up on YouTube and share?
We're probably going to see how it goes with the Hawaii Film Festival.
Yeah.
See how that, that people judging the film goes. We'll probably throw it up on YouTube. I don't know if we're going to try to push for any platforms, but we'll start with YouTube and see, where it can go from there.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up, bro. Congrats. That's so sick. Is there a name for it?
I believe I'm not entirely sure if we have decided on a name yet for it.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. We'll find a way to highlight it. You'll have to let me know. What we can do is I'll post a clip of this, or a link to this with the name, highlighting the name and where to find that, and the link to
definitely that'd be super sick.
That I'm fucking stoked to see that, because I'm sitting here trying to visualize what you were doing in the Hurt 100, what it looks like, what at 8 a.m. when you crossed the finish line, or you
it wasn't so pretty.
Yeah, like a zombie, crossed with looking like Rambo with just fucking dirt all over the face. What does that look
Something
like?
Something like that.
So, I'm excited. That's gonna be sick. To watch. I'm excited to share that. I'm excited to share.
Yeah, it'll tell a little story. It'll tell a good story.
Yeah, for sure. Are there
hopefully getting people to do some sorry?
No, I was gonna say, are there races that go much longer than 100? Are there
they got some gnarly shit out there, man. If you look into some stuff, they got 240-mile trail races that people do that take days to complete, and they have stage races where you're going maybe 50 miles a day for a week. They have all sorts of absolutely insane things out there. I don't recommend anyone to do 100 miles. I think it's just far too far of a distance to run.
Yeah.
However, I like doing them. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna bring the competition, maybe
Yeah.
that'd be cool. But yeah, you come into an event like this where you are in the best shape of your life, and then one day later, you are in by far the worst shape that you have ever been in. You can hardly walk, you're hobbling around, your feet are bruised. It's nuts.
Yeah. So what does recovery look like? I mean, like, do you do fucking massages, ice baths, just fucking lay on the couch and not work for 4 days and eat a bunch of food, go swimming
That was
straight, do the hot
basic.
tub? Like, what do you do?
That was basically it. Yeah. Upon finishing, it was, obviously eat as much food as I can. I ordered some Popeyes chicken sandwiches. Shout out. They ate 4 of them. But I definitely do ice bath and stuff like that. But I think obviously the most important thing, it'll get you 95% of the way there, is eating and sleeping. Yeah. It was, a lot of sleeping, a lot of eating, and that's the most important. Obviously, the ice feels phenomenal for a super inflamed body as well. But yeah, eating food and a lot of sleep, it'll repair the body about as good as anything else could.
Do you go in the actual water? Are you in the Pacific a lot? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, no, I was at the beach yesterday. I go about as often as I can. Probably should go more, but I always feel that gravitational pull towards the mountains more than the ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah, that salt water definitely feels good on the body.
Yeah, that's huge, and obviously the water's just a little colder there anyway, so you get a little bit of that shock when you get in.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it was definitely a long process after the race. I don't think I worked for a week after it. And it was kind of like I took a nap every day. Yeah, we're gonna go for some walks.
Yeah, went for a walk with the dog.
yeah, take the dog around the block a couple times, and
Popeye's chicken every day.
Yeah, well, I fucking DoorDashed a lot of those sandwiches, so we had quite a few after the race.
Now, is the restaurant you work at mostly tourism, or?
Yeah, so it's right there in the heart of Waikiki. It's a Tommy Bahama restaurant. So definitely targeted towards a lot of the touristy side of things.
I went to.
But yeah, we got a good mix of everyone that comes in. There's probably a few down there in Florida as well, I imagine.
Yeah. I literally went to one last weekend because I had business partners in town. I swear to God, I had business partners in town for a convention, and we went on Friday night. Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Food's all right.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. Like, the store is right there. I had never seen it before, but the store is right there, and just the whole outside of the store is basically tables that you can just.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup they do. They try to get you to have drinks on the inside of the restaurant and then walk through the store and not buy a silly shirt.
Yeah. But it works for a lot of idiots, I guess.
Oh, it gets them. I can't. $150 Aloha shirt. Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, damn. That's what's up, though. I mean, do you find yourself it's hard to connect with people in that realm because you live a life so opposite of that?
No, I'm pretty good at connecting with anybody. I kind of one of those dudes that treats the CEO the same way as the dishwasher. I'm still gonna talk shit to you and bust your balls.
Yeah.
So I kind of stay true to myself regardless who I'm around, which obviously can be a shock for some people. But I'm pretty friggin' laid back, especially, just the island vibes, Hawaii in general. That, I'm not high energy. I'm not out to make people, you know, feel some type of way, you know.
That makes sense. That's what's up.
I'm pretty laid back.
Yeah, just chilling, living the dream. Are you going back to Rhode Island anytime soon?
Shit. Nothing's planned.
No.
Maybe next time someone gets married, I will.
Bro, that's what I asked. I'm going, Matt Corey's getting married in September. So
yeah. I think I just went back in June. My cousin got married, so I made the trip out there. So I was like, oh, I got to see everyone in the family. Okay, that check.
A couple years.
Yeah, I'll be good for a couple of years, so I got to make a trip back there.
That's what's up. Nobody really comes out there to see you, I would imagine, right? Your mom.
Yeah, you know, it seems almost like a mythical place, you know, like it takes a lot of convincing to say, hey, dude, like you got a free place to stay here in Hawaii if you want to come hang out. Yeah. You know, you wouldn't think it takes a lot of convincing.
How much is a typical flight? Like how?
It depends on the time of year. You know, from Boston, you could probably find them from $800 maybe. Pretty average, I would say, round trip.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Also, always depends on the time of the year too.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on the time of the year.
But that's why it's tough to get out there all the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't imagine going home is not cheaper for you than them going out there. But
so if you're getting married, I really have to like you.
Yeah. No, that's funny. And I mean, I think we can all agree that Hawaii is a little bit more of a desirable destination than Rhode Island.
You know, to each his own, right? To each his own.
Yeah. Although, like, you know, going to Newport and Narragansett is always, you know, it's nice. It especially during the summer and fall, it is beautiful. You can't deny that. But you don't get the mountains and the mysterious vibe that you would probably get being where you are.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. I enjoy the hell out of it.
That's what's up, man. I'm gonna have to get out there eventually.
Please do. I'll show you the trails, man.
Yeah, I might have to come run with you. That might be the plans. I'll take the family on a trip. Me, my girl, and the baby will come out there, and I'll just leave.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
We're
committed to making him a traveler. We're like, we got. I didn't travel at all, bro. I've never been really anywhere. The farthest thing I've done is gone to Toronto, which was it's like not
right.
Silly excuse for another country. It's like New York. But
no. Florida's further away.
Yeah. That's it. It's an hour across the lake. So I definitely am committed to making my son a traveler. But
that's good.
Yeah, man. Do you have anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to ask me?
I
always like.
Nah, man. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything from what you accomplished, how you accomplished it, you know, talking about visualization and the mental aspect comes before, you know, the actual physical day of work. And then, you know, what it's like to meet other people in that realm and to just kind of be going through it as you're doing it and going, oh shit, like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. My God, there's my opportunity. Let me push a little bit. Bit. And then when you said like, oh, you could have caught up, like it was like 2 minutes. Like, nah, bro, I left it all out there. They were like,
there wasn't. Yeah, I don't think I had 2 minutes.
Yeah, no stone unturned. Like I can't imagine the fulfillment you got at the end of that, and then, you know, all back to recovery and what it takes in order to, you know, fuel your body that way. So so many good points that people can walk away from this learning. But most importantly, don't run 100 miles.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah,
Thank
you know, you do these things because, you know, you do these challenges because it's something that interests you. But at the end of the day, like, you do anything because the shit just feels good, you know, accomplishing a goal and figuring out a task, you know, going out for, you know, a run or just exercising in general. It's like, this shit just feels good, you know? So that's why we're doing this.
Yeah. I'm trying to schedule a Spartan race for next month with my brother-in-law, because they're coming to Boca, which is 10 minutes for me. So
I got a buddy down in Boca now. Dude, I used to live with out here.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck he's doing now.
Yeah, he's probably close by. I mean, it's not that.
Yeah, I think he's probably smoking cigars on the beach is what he's doing.
He's chilling. That's good. He should be. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get out there. With the baby coming, it's a little hard to commit to anything just yet, but
I can imagine.
Yeah, if all goes well, I'm gonna try to do that. But I appreciate your time, brother. I appreciate you sharing. I'm super fucking stoked to watch this documentary and learn more about this entire journey that you went on. Keep me updated with updated upcoming races and stuff, and hopefully we can get you a shoe sponsor and deal.
Holla at me.
Yeah, holla. Bro, appreciate it. Everyone who's listening, if you want to follow Eric and his journey and his story, Eric, you want to share where they can get some insight from you?
Yeah, Instagram is probably the best way to get a hold of me. I'm always scrolling. It's Eric WAZ here, Eric Waz here on Instagram. And slide my DMs, get to know me. Yeah. Love talking story.
There we go. Appreciate you, man. Much
love, Dylan. Much love.
Yeah, much love. Thank you guys for listening. As always, like, subscribe, share. If you know anyone in that industry, share this with them. I think the biggest thing you can take away is that if you put enough visualization and work into anything, you can probably accomplish it. So that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Peace out, y'all.